Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to go over how to reconcile a bank or credit card account in QuickBooks, and more importantly, how to deal with the issues that we face while reconciling the accounts. I'm going to reconcile 2 months worth of bank statements here because first month is usually different than future months, and especially if you have just connected your account. So before we get started, if my videos have been helping you, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you want me to make a video on a specific topic, do put it in the comments. Thank you. So let's get started. Okay, so the way we reconcile accounts in QuickBooks is you would open up your bank statement. This is the first bank statement for this bank account that I'm reconciling. So you would go in QuickBooks, click on this gear icon, and then click on reconcile. Now, believe me, we're going to go through so many of the issues that we have while reconciling and how to fix them, because I've seen a lot of people actually just uncheck everything and redo everything when they have a discrepancy or something while reconciling. That's not the goal here. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to deal with all the problems in a much easier and quicker way than having to unreconcile the whole thing and re-reconcile it one by one. Okay. So pick the bank account that you're going to reconcile. In this case, it's this account, 8821. Okay. I don't want AI to reconcile. Okay. The statement ending balance. Okay, beginning balance. Now, this account is showing a beginning balance of 0, which is amazing because it's a new bank account. Now, sometimes you might have noticed when you connect your bank accounts, you have a balance here, even though there shouldn't be any. That happens when you connect the bank account, and QuickBooks creates an opening balance entry for you, showing you the opening balance as of a certain date. Now, go to chart of accounts. And look for an account called opening balance equity. I'm going to run a report as of all date. Okay, this bank account that I connected did not have this entry because I uploaded the statements manually. But in most cases, you will see this kind of entry for that account that you're reconciling for the first time. So now what I need to do then is I need to delete this entry. Okay, delete. So then after deleting this entry, you're going to see a 0 balance. Okay. Beginning balance is 0 in my case. I'm going to look at my statement. What is the ending balance? Ending balance is 5143.47.77. So 5143.77. I am going to copy and paste it here. And this balance is going to be as of 2025. I'm working on 2025 in this account. Continue without AI. I don't need this AI thing. Okay. Okay, so all kind of issues that we face in reconciliation, let's go through that. Now here it clearly shows the difference is 0, which means a statement ending balance that I saw in my actual bank statement and the cleared balance in QuickBooks is matching perfectly. Okay, however, that's not the case always. Okay, this doesn't come out to 0 always. First of all, what do you need to do if the difference doesn't come out to 0? You are going to check the total of deposits. Okay, you're going to look at your statement, see if the total of deposit side matches. Yep, matches in my case. Total of payments. Does it match? Yes, matches in my case. Perfect. Okay, but if it doesn't match, I'm just trying to show you how to quickly figure out where the issue lies. Okay, so if deposit total doesn't match, you know the issue is in deposit side. If the payments don't match, you know the issue is in payment side. That's one way of figuring out where the problem lies exactly. Okay, and then you can of course go into deep and try to fix it. Okay. Next thing we can do to figure out why the difference isn't coming to 0 is we can look at the beginning balance and the ending balance. Okay, so look at the beginning balance. Okay, does it match to your statement? In my case it does. Check if it matches. Ending balance, does it match? Great. Sometimes what happens is the balance is in negative actually, and we enter it as positive. Yes, it does happen. And negative balances do show up sometimes. So pay attention to the signs if it's positive or negative. Okay, so make sure you edit that. If that's the case, you can go here and edit balance here. Okay, then if you do figure out what the issue is, for example, which side the issue is on, let's say it's in deposit side, right? Check the deposit transaction numbers. Some bank statements do show you the number of transactions, mine doesn't. But if yours does, that's amazing. Then you can actually check, oh, if my problem is in deposit side, let's say deposit side should be 7 transactions and I only show 5, I've checked off 5, then I know something is wrong there, right? In deposit side. Go and check, match those deposit side items to your bank statement. Okay, so that's another way to figure out where the problem is. Sometimes, let's say the problem is in payment side, right? You say total doesn't match or the number of transactions don't match, you know something's going on. If it's only one transaction off, right? If your bank statement shows number of transactions and your like discrepancies with one transaction only, you can look for that exact amount, okay, on your statement. And let's say you don't find this amount on the statement here, right, for whatever reason. Now reasons could be multiple, right? It could be that the transaction was one never entered, so you search for that amount, and if you don't see it, then you need to enter it manually, right? Okay. Second could be that you entered it but the date of transaction is different. That happens usually when you are making a credit card payment, right? You make the credit card payment, credit cards usually reflect the payment right away or very next day, but the bank accounts don't show the money taken out until a couple of days later. Depends on your bank too, but most of the time that's what I've seen. So you search for that amount and simply change the date of that transaction. When you search for payment, it shows like February 2nd, 3rd, whatever. And all you have to do is change the date of that transaction to January 31st. So it falls in this period. Okay. And then you can check it off. You don't want to enter it again just because it's not showing up in this particular reconciliation period. Okay. You don't want to duplicate the transaction. So just find that transaction. If it exists in QuickBooks, just change the date. Okay. Now, other issues that might exist in QuickBooks is duplicate transactions. Okay, it's not always that QuickBooks is missing transactions. That's why it's causing the issues with reconciliation. Sometimes you are just duplicating the transaction, and the way it happens is it could be a credit card payment that you made from this bank account to another credit card that's linked to your QuickBooks. Now, QuickBooks credit card side is going to show the payment as payment coming in from your bank account. Bank account is going to show as the payment going out. Now, the way you record it matters a lot. Okay, so if the payment was recorded twice by mistake, then it's going to show up as twice in both credit card and bank account, right? So now you'll see 2 transactions here in this account. Mine doesn't show 2 transactions because I didn't do it. But if that's the case, make sure that you pick the correct one. You can pick one, but let's say you have already reconciled the other side of the account. Now that I'm working on my bank account, let's say my credit card has been reconciled and I have picked one of those transactions as the cleared one, right? So when I'm reconciling my bank account, I want to make sure that I keep that one transaction that has been reconciled already on the other side. Okay, and I delete the one that has not been reconciled on the other side. Okay, so just keep in mind, and then delete the one that hasn't been reconciled yet on the other side, and keep the one that has been. This way, you're reconciling the same entry on both sides. Okay. Okay. So next thing, what other kind of duplication can exist in QuickBooks? Here, I'm going to give you a perfect example here. So one, you see this? It says Fernandez holding and $2,200. Fernandez holding $2,200. One is an AR payment. The other one is posted simply to services. Okay, which one is correct? Now that depends. I know in my business, I am recording every single invoice that I send to my client. Okay. And then I record a payment against that. I am not simply posting payments to services. So I know that I've already recorded the income by creating an invoice. Instead of matching it in the bank feeds to payment that has been recorded already against the invoice, I recorded the bank fees transaction to services to income again. Now I'm duplicating my income, right? So I'm overstating my bank balance right now. So that's not the right thing to do. What I am going to do in this case is this is the correct one, the one that went towards an invoice, not this one. This is not the correct one. I can't post something to services slash income again when I already have an invoice created and a payment posted to it. Okay. So now in this case, I am going to delete the one that was posted to income directly. Okay. Delete. Okay. Fine. Let's go to the next one now. Now let's look at this $3,500. Why is it showing services? Again, I create invoices for each of my clients. Why would I have a deposit posted to income? Let's look into this. I know that's not the right process for my business. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into second tab and look for this client. Corp. What does it show? It shows that I did record a payment. Let's see what's going on though. Why don't I see it in the bank account? Because it was recorded in undeposited funds account. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fix two problems with one solution. So let's go back to Reconcile. Now, instead of deleting this and re-recording the deposit, I'm just going to go to this transaction. And instead of recording it as services, I am deleting this from here. I am picking the payment that I had already recorded in QuickBooks and post it to undeposited funds account. So by doing this, I am cleaning up my undeposited funds account. I am removing the duplication of services. Okay. And without even having to undo anything. Save and close. Okay. Let's go back here. See how it shows now? It's a deposit. It's coming from undeposited funds account. This is perfect. Now I know I am not duplicating my income. I am not leaving anything undeposited funds. And this is the right process I'm following. Okay. Now this was the income side duplication, right? Now there could be a duplication on expense side too. Same kind of thing. See how I see two payments here? One Verizon here, $95, one $95 here. Again, a similar concept to accounts receivable. This is accounts payable, right? Now we have a mistake in accounts payable. I know that I create bills for certain vendors in my QuickBooks and apply payments towards that instead of recording them as expenses, just like this transaction, right? What I did here was I created a duplicate entry. I recorded a bill for Verizon, then I applied a payment to that right here. And then when I went to bank feeds, instead of matching this Verizon $95 transaction to my existing bill payment, I created an expense again. Now I'm duplicating my expenses here. What do I need to do? I need to keep this transaction, the one that goes towards bill and bill payment, and I need to delete this transaction. So I'm going to go to this transaction, more, and delete. Okay, done. So now I know I'm not duplicating anything. I am recording it correctly. And that's it. Now my difference is zero. Now it makes sense. Now, even if the difference comes to zero, okay, we have to make sure that the deposit total and payments total still matches. This is not something you need to check only when the difference doesn't come out to zero. Even if the difference comes to zero, still check the total of deposits and payments. Reason being, what if you are missing a $10,000 deposit and a $10,000 payment? Right? What if the deposit was supposed to be income and payment was supposed to be a draw? Right? Now you're missing the income, you're not paying taxes on that, right? Okay, it could be the other way around too. What if the payment was an expense that you could have gotten deduction for, but the deposit was actually an owner's contribution, which you don't pay tax on, right? So you want to make sure that everything is recorded in QuickBooks, nothing is missing and nothing is duplicated, okay? So this is the way to make sure of that. And the last step, when you got to zero difference, now you have to click on finish now. So when you do finish now, that's when the QuickBooks knows that the reconciliation has been completed. Now, if you don't get the difference to zero, do not click on finish now. And if you don't have the time to finish the reconciliation right now, you still have the difference, whatever, click on this drop down and click on save for later. Okay, so you can come back to it anytime. Okay, now since we are done, we're going to click on finish now. Okay, now this 1 month is reconciled, right? And now we're going to go to the second month, which is February. Okay, so let's look at this. First, make sure that the beginning balance is correct. Now, you might not be reconciling all the months at one time, right? This is a process you should follow every month. So by that time, someone might have made changes to your QuickBooks, right? By mistake to the reconcile transaction. If that's the case, your beginning balance isn't going to match. So this is a vital step too. You have to make sure that the beginning balance matches when you start reconciling any month. Okay. Now, February, I know my beginning balance is matching, right? 5143.77. Now I'm going to take the ending balance and put it here. Okay. This is the ending. Oh my God. Okay, cool. So now, in this case, my difference comes to zero. I don't see any transactions remaining, right? So that's good. Another problem actually I could think of is you shouldn't have any pending transactions from prior months. Okay, so if you're reconciling February, you shouldn't be seeing any transactions from January month or any past month. If you're reconciling June, you shouldn't have anything from like January to May. Now, the one exception to that rule is if there are transactions which you have recorded in QuickBooks, like checks, for example. If you have recorded checks in QuickBooks, but they haven't cleared yet, right? Same thing with deposit. You might have recorded a deposit in QuickBooks, but in the bank account didn't clear until 2 days later. That's fine, right? But there has to be a legitimate reason for that. You can't just have transactions sitting in QuickBooks which never went through your bank or credit card account. It means it's either duplicated or it's an error. Okay, so make sure unclear transactions from past don't exist in QuickBooks. Okay, now in this case, I see the zero balance. Perfect. I don't see anything unchecked. I'm going to check my deposit total. Now that matches 7763, and my payments match too. It's perfect. Okay, now I know my reconciliation is good for sure. Now I'm going to click on finish now. Okay, these are all the issues I could think of at this time. But if you find any other issues you're facing while reconciling your bank or credit card account, let me know in the comments so I can try to make a video on that. Okay. So I'll see you in next video. Until then, happy accounting.